Well, hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be tearing down the LML block that blew the crank, and we're going to see exactly how bad the damage was. So we already kind of got started on it a little bit. As you can see over here, we got some of the pieces off, like water pump, that little Y housing, whatever it's called. So we're going to be tearing apart the injection system next, the heads off, valve covers, and get to the cam and the crank and the block and all that good stuff. I am being forced to tear this thing down sooner than I expected because there's somebody that wants to buy parts off of it, and the first part that's getting sold off of it happens to be the block. So I have to strip it down. I'm gonna have pieces everywhere, so I gotta strip it down and get just a block for the guy. And he said he needs it very badly. He blew a piston in his and it put a hole inside his block, so we're basically helping him out with this block here. The block's still good, obviously, because it still ran and all. We're gonna tear it down and see how the scoring and stuff is and how the crank is and all that. But the block should be 100% still good. It wasn't anything crazy that was wrong with it. Like I said, just a crank. And I'm pretty sure it broke on the first two journals of the rod, so it should still have a good line bore on it. But I'm sure he'll get all that checked out before he puts it back together, hopefully. If he doesn't, it's kind of stupid on his part. I mean, why would you buy a used block and not get it machined and checked out first? You know, you never know what you're buying. So it's the best thing to do is always take your used block to a machine shop and just give them a look over it. I mean, it's not gonna cost you really no money. You'd rather do that than all the work putting it back together and find out something's wrong or maybe destroy your engine. So always take your block to the machine shop and get it looked over first before installing if you buy a used block alone. Especially if you want it to be reliable and not have guaranteed any issues. So with that being said, I'm gonna set you guys up on the tripod and we're gonna go into a time lapse and we're gonna finish tearing down the rest of this engine. Well, unfortunately, guys, we ran into a little oil spill. As you can see, it's coming out the front cover right here. And I should have just drained the oil. I should have just did it from before, but I never did it. So we're gonna drain it now, get all that drained out, and then we can pull this front cover off. Alright, so we're done draining the oil. Now let's get to ripping the front timing cover off like we intended to. Alright, so for knowing the history on this thing is very clean on the inside. As you guys know, we ripped this thing out the woods. It was full of water and oil. And I flushed it a couple times and it was good for about 14,000 miles till the crank broke. But this thing is very clean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like decently clean in the inside. I was expecting all kind of rust and stuff. It is not rusty. This has a little water spot, as you can see. That's a CP4 gear. Well, let's finish tearing this thing down. Alright, so we got the passenger side fuel injectors and fuel lines off. Now we're about to pull the valve covers and the upper common rail. As you can see about the injectors, they're a little dirty, a little rough on the tips, but they work fine, so they're good. by the cam was clean, but not too much to rock. Look at that rust. I knew something was gonna be rusty in here. Other than that, she didn't look too bad either. What is this? That's just, yeah, it's gotta be built up from the rocker itself, not something floating on top because it'd be all over. Mint. So guys, I got the head off, and from the looks of it, we don't have any cracked pistons. This one's a little wet because I had the glow plug out when I started and pulled it back here. I forgot about, so it soaked it pretty much with fuel. But this cylinder looks like it might have a history of something going on. It looked like something hit it. See that? You see the markings in the piston? Like some kind of burr right here. Guys, drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think happened to this piston. Also, it's on this head over here on the same cylinder. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but obviously it looks like it was repaired before. Maybe drop the injector nozzle. I don't know. But drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think happened to that thing. Also, while you're there, be sure to subscribe if you like seeing stuff like this. Tear downs and stuff like this, rebuilds, building custom stuff. There's a lot of different stuff like that I do. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And drop a comment on your opinion on this. And also drop a comment on what exactly you think broke the crank on this thing as well, because that's still a mystery. I know there's a whole lot of opinions out there on what happened. Oh, I was running it hard. Oh, I had a hot tune. It was on the eco tune. As you can see, there's no cracked piston, so it was obviously doing good for a little while. This thing has 280,000 miles on it. It had a history of the freeze plug right here coming out, getting water all up in the oil, and it sat like that for a while. Then I got it, flushed it, put the freeze plug back in with a new water pump, and got it going on the road. And it was doing good for a good while until the crank broke. So drop a comment on what you think exactly happened to the crank and what happened to that cylinder, because I'm very curious, because I don't have a clue. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this part down real quick, get this all out the way, so we can get straight to the bottom end and start pulling these pistons out. So we got the other head off, as you can see. Now, I did notice this back cylinder kind of gave it away. It looks like we had a blown head gasket. That explains a lot, to be honest. I even checked it and it didn't even give me no signs, but you see it right here. That hoe was gone. Also, this one was blown. Cracked right there too. So, very confused on how that wasn't worse than what it was running, but it did overheat a couple times on me, and that gives it away right there of why. Didn't even know. I put head gasket repair in it to see if it even was gonna fix it, but it did nothing. So, but that's why we're tearing it down to kind of diagnose everything. It's pretty cool to know. All right, guys, so we're not gonna be tearing down the block any farther because the guy actually wants it how it sits. So we agreed on the price because he wants all the pistons in it. So I'm gonna get him to film him finish tearing it down and then send me over the video for y'all so you can see the crank and stuff like that. But we're leaving it exactly how it is, and he's gonna be the one finishing the tear down. But I do have another surprise for y'all.